Top card. Have a look at it to yourself. Can we have a look?
What?
Oh, yes! Home run! So I feel, so think of another playing card. Don't tell me what it is.
Any playing card, right?
Yeah, anyone you want. Someone you've got one.
Okay, got one.
So the first thing I feel straight away is, even though you toyed with the idea of going for a number card, you went back, sorry, a picture card, you went back to the numbers at the last second, just so that this would be more difficult and you'd have more choice, correct?
Yeah.
Now I feel you went for a red card and then swiftly changed your mind to a black card at the last second.
Yeah.
You didn't do the magician's thing of going for the club, did you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I'm going to hold one playing card up. In fact, I think this is probably going to be one higher, but it doesn't make a difference. What were the card you thought of?
6 of clubs.
Now, what were the very first one that you thought of before that? Or
8 of
didn't
clubs.
you? Did you not change? I'll tell you what, look. Just jump back to any other number in your mind. You know, so for example, if you went for, say, the 8, it'd be the 8, but just tell me when you've got a number in mind.
With the same symbol, right?
Yeah, same suit, yeah.
Okay.
Now, this is probably going to be one high. This is probably going to be one higher, but it doesn't matter. What's the card you're thinking of?
4 of clubs.
Yeah, I said yours is going to be one higher than mine. I went for the 3 of clubs, but I told you yours would be one higher before you can, right? I just couldn't be bothered going back through the deck. So you can use verbal outs like that. You know, this is going to be one higher, and the beauty is, if you'd have said the 2 of clubs, my playing card's one higher than that, right? Because the 4, your 4's one higher than my 3, which covers all those different outs. Now, the unfortunate thing is that you'd picked one right in the middle.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, because still, you notice how I want 3 king out. I still, and I'm never framing this as, you know, the other piece where I held one card I framed as a piece of influence.
Yeah.
No? Whereas that one I'm saying, let's just check, let's test our intuition. So another one is, you know, like if I said to you, watch the difference. So let's say I held a card up and said, and again, I'm going to purposefully show you how this would look if you did get it wrong. I'm going to influence you one playing card. Name any playing card. Go.
Okay, 7 of hearts, yeah.
And then I turn it and go, oh, I got that wrong then, right? Whereas if I hold it up and go, I want to test your intuition to see how good you are at picking up on things.
You are actually putting that whole burden on the spectator so that you would not have anything to carry with it, right?
Yeah, so and now if I said to you, and obviously we know it's the 9 of diamonds, but let's say you got it wrong, you know, so I want to test your intuition. What's this playing card? What do you think it is? And then you'd say, 2 of spades, whatever. And I go, you were wrong, but that's only because you don't know how to do this yet. Are you happy to try that again? But this time, I'm going to show you how to use your intuition, and if we're close, it'll be even better, right? Now if I move into my multiple outs and you'd said diamond instead of heart, well, imagine you'd said 8 of diamonds, and I said, do you know what? It's the 8 of hearts. You still got the colour, you still got the number.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, the beauty is that you still take that as a hit, and you go, wow, I've just gone from being completely wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
To being almost perfect.
You know, I think it's you know, according to what you spoke this much time, I mean, I think it's a misconception of the performers or the mentalist that things should go in the direction in the same way that the method has been taught. So they are thinking, okay, you taught some methods for the proper mentalism effects, which you did in lectures and your releases, and they are thinking, okay, this should, and that's the same effect. It doesn't matter which method you use, but they are thinking, you know, we should use this method to accomplish this effect. But if it didn't happen, we should use some other methods to accomplish that. So, and
that's it. And you know, pick a card, do the pick a card trick and change it, or don't worry about staying. Look, I used a multiple out to do something that were the same as holding one card. Do you know what I mean? Mix and match methods.
Yeah, and one more thing is that I believe, according to it's not because you said this, but I believe mentalism should not be like, okay, think of something. Okay, you're thinking of this, right? It should not be like direct. I mean, if there is a moment of failure in the mentalism performance, if things goes like, you got miss, then if you come back, that's a beauty. So, for example, let's say if a performer is using kind of like a impression device or like peaking method or using app-based mentalism, whatever, they got the information. So is it really matter? I mean, like, is it necessary to act like he got fail in the performance to increase the beauty of the act?
It depends. It depends how impossible the information is.
Okay.
What really annoys me is that I once saw a performer do 10 spectators, and each one of them thinks of a number. And then he goes like 6, 2, 4, 8, 6, 5, 7, 3, 8. And you're like, wow, this is so astronomically impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, that this is not believable anymore. And so it depends, like, to start with, imagine testing. I mean, the thing is, mentalists never test people either. It's really weird. Like when you I always think about it this way, right? So you imagine that you're a mentalist and that you're going to have your abilities tested by scientists. Would they stick you in a lab and just have you doing one thing? No, they put you there and they go, okay, here's a test that uses a ball. Here's a test now that uses a dice. Here's a test that uses this. Here's a test. So I think that in order to read people as well, you need to sort of put them through that process of testing, not like a scientific test, but a test. So imagine you had those 10 people lined up and you said, like, okay, well, yours is very easy. Yours, I feel, is going to be different. I'm going to say this now. Yours is going to be wrong. I'm going to get yours completely wrong because I'm struggling to read you and I'm just taking a shot in the dark. Right? Now you have two choices. You can either miss that one and you're still right because you predicted that you were going to miss. Right? But yeah. It's more believable. If I said to you, look, there's 7 people around you or whatever, and I said, yours is very easy. Yours, I think I've got. Yours, I have no chance of getting it. I'm just literally guessing with yours. So if it's right, it's just a guess. I think I'm going to fail with yours, so I'm stating that very openly. So now if I hit, failed, hit, right? Everybody goes, he still knew that he were going to fail there. And it looks real. Do you know what I mean? You
more
still
believability, yeah.
Yeah, you still predicted it, but you've told people that you're going to miss, which you predicted the miss, right? And then if you wanted to hit because you actually knew what the number was, you could hit, and on yours, say, I'm going to deal with yours last. Hit. Now I know yours, right? And then I go, what is it? And then I go, yes! You know what I mean? And I punch the air when I hit yours. People don't... I'm punching the air because I'm like, that's the first time that I've ever done 7 in a row. Do you know what I mean? And now all of a sudden, people believe that you struggled on that one number. do you know what I mean? And that's that theatrically. That's really where my focus is, on that theatricality. All of the propolis, propped, it doesn't matter to me. It's whatever's easiest at the time. If it's easier to use a multiple out, I'll use a multiple out, right? If it's easier to use a billet, I'll use a billet. Whatever's easiest, but think about what you want to see and what you want to achieve. Do you know what I mean? That's the important thing. And if you watch like Uri Geller, for example, whenever he hits a drawing, he punches the air and he's as shocked as everybody else, and he's screaming and he's yes. It's like he's just won a football game. His hands are going like this, and you watch it and you're like, wow, did he guess that? Or like, you don't know. You question yourself, because why would somebody celebrate?
I mean, it should look flawless in the eyes of spectators. It should not look like you had a hard job finding the information. When you reveal something, it should look like what you do, in an easy way, in a casual way, right?
It depends. The problem is if it's too seamless. So there's no process. So for example, if I said to you, think of a number, and it were 12, and I looked at you and went 12. Think of a country, USA. Think of a time, 20 minutes past 4. Do you know what I mean? There's no real test there, right? And even psychics and mediums that are seen as genuine, they're always like, there's like a P or something coming from somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And so for it to be believable, I think you've got to almost fight with yourself. You're not performing to spectators, you're performing to yourself. And what that means is that when you're doing this sort of stuff, sometimes act excited when you hit it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes state vulnerability. You know, that's the problem with mentalists, is that they make it look easy to guess something that's ridiculously difficult. You know, like a PIN code, for example, is not it wouldn't be an easy thing to guess. And if it was that easy, then what's the point in having them?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if people could just walk around and just go, oh, your PIN code's 6285, then there's no point having PIN codes. We just have to trust each other, you know. So you've got to work for it. And again, you know, you can make something that's got a prop feel propless. So I'll give you an example of that, you know, so you could see. Do you have your phone there?
Yeah.
This is an oldie, but it's a goodie, right? Go to your calculator on there. Now, just for everybody watching this, there's two ways to create a PIN code, or to have a PIN code. One of them is to go with the one that the bank issues, and then you're just a random number in a system based on an algorithm that a computer created. And the second one is to take a series of events from your own personal life and then mix all those events up to create a random number. So type in there the year that you were born. So now if everybody else were doing this that were watching, there'd be a lot of different numbers there. That's 4 digits you just typed in, right?
Yeah, of course.
Do you believe that this is a fair enough PIN code for me to try to guess?
The year which I born, right?
Yeah, do you believe that's fair enough? Some people set the year they were born. I don't think it is personally, because I could probably look at you and I could probably work out how old you are. I don't think it's fair enough. Right? So I'll tell you what, press the plus key, add.
Okay.
Can you think of a year in your life that was special to you that I wouldn't know?
All right, okay. Can I type it?
Yeah, 4 digits, add that in.
Okay.
Now, that's a little bit more impressive, because I don't know this year. I don't know what year you were thinking of.
Yeah.
Right, I'll tell you what, let's make it more random. Press the plus key once more.
Okay.
Type in your age.
Okay.
Again, bearing in mind, if other people would be doing this, the number would be completely different.
Exactly.
Press the plus key just one more time.
Plus key, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Think back to that special year. Don't type anything in. Can you think of how many years it's been from then to now? So if it was 2010, it'd be 10 years. Now,
Okay,
see
I
how
got it.
it's taken to do this, right? That proves how difficult this is. But type in the amount of years and press equals.
From that year, special year to now, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And press equals.
Okay.
Now, they're random events from your life. They're not random events from my life or anybody else's. Are you happy, though, that that's a random total that would resemble a good enough PIN code to guess now?
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
I'll tell you what, think of any number inside there. Don't tell me it. Now, look right at me. I'm going to ask you 3 simple questions. First question, are you a fan of vegetables, yes or no?
Not so much, but still I like vegetables. Not a fan of vegetables.
You wouldn't go out your way to get them. Second question is, what's your favourite film of all time?
Like in which language?
It doesn't matter.
Let's say Joker, yeah.
Joker, okay, psychological thriller. So that tells me that you're somebody who likes to live as a very hermit lifestyle, small circle of friends, a lot of acquaintances outside of that. I'd say somebody that has got 2 genuine friends, had a third, fell out, don't talk as much, been meaning to get back in contact with somebody but's not. I'd say also maybe a procrastinator, so somebody that has a series of ideas that they're yet to... Are you thinking of a 3?
No.
Is there a 3 in there?
No.
Okay, so there's more friends than just 2. Ooh, I think I've got this. I think based on... Just one last question. I'm going to ask 3 just in case. The last question. If you could play any musical instrument, what musical instrument would you play?
Violin.
A violin, so somebody who's creative, is refined in terms of taste. Are you thinking about moving?
Moving.
moving house?
No, maybe in future, yeah.
What's your PIN code? What is it?
The final output, right?
Yes.
4040.
And there it is, 4040. Right, so the idea is that I'm working for it, though. I mean, those questions were ridiculous questions that I just made up off the top of my head, but they make it seem like I'm doing something. They make it seem like I'm pushing for something. They make it seem like I'm gauging you and how you think. Do you know what I mean? And there's something nice about that. And even getting that little bit of a flash on the number wrong, it doesn't worry me, you know. It's just like, okay, well, maybe more friends then, and then just something else, you know. And I even adopted a few Darwinisms for people. I have a little nod.
I mean, that's brilliant, man. I mean, it's all about the personality that we choose to play with in the Mentalism acts, right?
And that's it. And you can shake it up. I could have sat there and said, "Oh, you're this person, this personality, you're this, you're that." Ultimately, the method's going to be the same every time.
Exactly. I mean, that's correct. I mean, the most important thing is when we do Mentalism, we have to first choose a personality that we like to play with, which suits our body language, right? And talking about personality and body language, to be honest, don't get me wrong. When I see you in the before freeform Mentalism and all, you know, your looks and all, you know, I was not I know that you are a pure genius in what you do, but I was not your big fan. I mean, I like your works, but what is it called fan? You know, because when we watch a person saying something, doing something, and we get goosebumps, that's what a true fan is, right? So, and you know that because later, before many years, before 10, 12 years, you look like a young boy. I mean, a fatty young boy who do like mind reading things. I mean, okay, fine. But then, now the Theatrical look, you know, with a beard, hairy look, the full tattoo and all, and even if you just speak some words, I mean, even if you do something, you know, like it's like watching an art. I mean, we can just sit simply like and watching. I'm not trying to overboost you, but I'm just telling what I feel. So I want to know, do you intentionally change your looks just to get your mentalism performance better in a whole new way?
No, not at all. I just sort of naturally found myself, and it takes time. I mean, it's a bit of a difficult one. I mean, right now I've got a hat on because my hair's just an absolute mess, you know. But I found that I couldn't really be who I wanted to be. Basically, you know, I went through some weird things. Like I wanted to wear shirts and pants and suits. I went through that whole period, and then I decided to come out the other side of it. And to be honest, now most of the time, if you were to catch me an hour ago, I'd have like a top that was just covered with like stuff from working on bikes and cars, and then, you know, overalls. So I'm constantly changing. And also another thing that's changes quite a bit is my weight. So like, for example, I'm on what they call downtime now. So right now I look fairly big, but in 3 months' time I'll be really slim. And then I'll be slim for a few months, and then I'll bulk right back up to this, and I'll eat again. And that's because now what I do is instead of doing like a diet that fails every 2 weeks or a diet that fails every 4 weeks, I'll do a diet for a few months, and then when I get bored, I'll just eat. And then when I'm bored of that, I'll then go back to dieting. I'm right at the point now where I'm ready to start dieting again to get back in shape, and I can get down in shape really quickly. So mostly it's just about just controlling the intake of what it is that, you know, food wise that I eat and stuff like that. The beard right now is really bad because obviously we're just coming through lockdown. I mean, look how long my hair is, you know. It's very, very, but we're just coming out of lockdown, so I'm just waiting to go to the barbers, get it all trimmed nice and cleaned up. But yeah, I just think that I've just become who I wanted to be.
And like, what about tattoos? I mean, tattoos are the things like, you know, many people do it, you know, because they like it. And second thing is that it looks cool, right? I mean, it makes you a cool person rather than being normal. So it makes you different. So do you do tattoos all over your body just to look cool, or just to make your mentalism acts cool?
Neither. I'm a tattoo artist. You know, I've learned to tattoo, so it's a culture. It's a culture type thing, you know. And the thing is that it starts as. So I always said I'd never get my hands tattooed, and then here they are, you know, they're tattooed. There's still this one's very plain. And when I look at this one, and I look at this one, when I look at it, this looks like I'm naked, like I'm not wearing any clothes, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is, like, I've got a space behind the back of my arm there.
Yeah. So are you gonna fill that also?
Yeah, and what happens is I just feel like, I need to fill that space, and I need to. And so when the scales tip, it goes from being. You get one random tattoo on your arm, and you look at it, and you go, "Oh, it looks a bit lonely." So then you get another one, right? And then you get another, and then all of a sudden you look at it and go, "I want the gaps filling between those." And then it starts to look like a sleeve, and it starts to look, and then all of a sudden your whole body starts to fill out. And then when you've got blank spaces, you just think, "Oh, I want to get them tattooed." And not only that, like, I have friends that are tattoo artists, so I usually tattoo them, and then they'll tattoo me in return. You know, so we're just canvases. Basically, and we just.
I know, and also you have tattoos behind your head, right? I mean, I saw a video on Instagram.
Yeah, my whole head is tattooed.
Yeah, and you know, like you have a lot of tattoos around your body. So, this is kind of like a personal thing, not related to mentalism, but which is your personal tattoo from all these tattoos on your body?
It's a good question. It's the first time I've been asked. I mean, I love these ones. I've got my eyelids tattooed. I don't know if you can see this.
Man, that's crazy.
So my eyelids are tattooed. But they're the ones that get the most attention. But I'd probably go as far as saying that my snowflake in my hand is probably my favourite.
Okay, that's cool.
So that one, probably the snowflake.
I actually got inspired from you to get a tattoo, but I only have one. I mean, like, here.
Oh, you actually got one?
I got one because when I used to watch you, I thought, okay, I will have a tattoo, and I did this. And then after that, in lockdown came, I didn't get time to put another tattoo. But I will definitely do, club start, spade diamond symbols on my fingers and all soon.
Well, that's it. Do you know what? The thing is, think about your fingers really carefully.
Okay.
Because when you get them, I mean, mine are covered now because I had clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds here. And so think about what you want. I mean, I have the word fate tattooed here.
Okay.
And I really like that.
Okay.
I really like, so spend a bit of time to think about what you want on there, and then if you've got,
because it's kind of like a permanent thing, right? I mean, we can easily change it.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's a nightmare to change, and you end up with a completely black arm like this one.
Yeah.
So, and so I have white in there, and I tried putting white. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's like white in it, and it doesn't show up, so it's not worth getting. Do you know what I mean? It's worth getting, and you just get it right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, tattoos. I never consciously pick about image. This is the thing. I think it's this. I just stopped caring. Do you know what I mean? And that's so you're at a point where you think, okay, like there's certain people that change the way they look to have a certain, and I just thought, now I don't care. Like my friends come round to my house, and when you come into my house. I don't know if I could a bit show you this without it cutting off. I'll try. But when you come into my house, there's a little car out the front. That's not mine. But you come in these gates down here. I don't know if you can see this down there, and you come up, and I don't know if you can see that, but this is you come up here, and I'm surrounded by nothing but this. This is all. I don't know if you can see all that, but it's all lush. It's really nice. So you drive up, and the first thing that you think is, this guy's going to be wearing some sort of suit. He's going to be dressed like this. And then you'll see me walk across the yard, or ride across on the quad, and I've just got oil-stained shirt on and everything else. And my friends are like, you just don't give a shit, do you? And I'm like, no. When I go out, I get changed, do you know what I mean? But if I had it my way, I probably wouldn't even bother then, and it's only because, and like you'll notice that if you look at my videos, black T-shirts, I have over 100 black T-shirts. They don't cost anything. They're very cheap. I buy them, because I don't want to spend my time consciously focusing on fashion. So I just buy black clothes, nice and easy, black boots, done. And then I can jump on my motorbike. It looks great. If I end up at a venue, I can throw a jacket on. I look smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, if I want to wear a black watch, then I'll wear a black watch and it'll look tidy and smart. And so it's just universal. It's a good color that's just easy to
So
wear.
you don't actually care about that. I mean, you just wear what you feel good about it. I mean, if you feel okay today,
But, I mean, I've got a pair of shorts on now. Like I just wear what I want to wear. So I don't really consciously focus on fashion. Don't consciously focus on any of that. I just got to a point in life where I think my life for the first 20 years were like a life sentence in prison. When you think about not having any money and, think about living in the place that I lived, thinking about what, my uncle beating me and then being homeless and everything else. First 20 years, I spent so much time locked away and restricted that, I'm 32 now. I'm 32 years old. So the next bit of my life is just going to be freedom and just living life how I want to live it. Do you know what I mean? And doing what I want to do instead of thinking about, am I going to offend this person? Because no matter what happens in life, and this is a good lesson that I learned, no matter what you do, you're always going to annoy somebody or piss somebody off unintentionally, right? And so when I first started in the old mentalism thing, I'd get advice from the pros, and I'm doing this, not because I want pros, but it's what we'd consider professional and the heroes in mentalism. And one of them would say to me, change this, it'll look better. So I change it, and then somebody else who was also a pro would say, oh, that's terrible, I don't like that. And then you've got now two of your heroes telling you to do the same thing differently, and no matter what you did, you were annoying one of them. Do you know what I mean? And so you get to a point where you try to please
satisfy everyone, right?
And it stops being yours, and it stops. And it's the same with fashion. It's the same with your hair. It's the same with how you are. If you wake up tomorrow morning, you think, I don't want to do my hair. Throw a baseball cap on, do what you want, put a hat on, or just go out with your hair a mess. Who cares? It's live life. Don't spend, when you go to a fuel station, there's people, I see them, they're coming up to however much fuel they're putting into the car, and then they'll slow down on the pump and go pip, 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 until it gets up to the number they want. Just hold on to it, slam it out when it's as close as possible. If you're 5, 10 pence, whatever over, fine, you've saved time, you know what I mean? And when you think about it, if you fueled your cars up twice a week and you added that up over 50 years, that's nearly a full day that you'd spend on those extra little bits for this. And then you go, how much would you put a price on that? And you look at it, it's 10 pence a time, you know what I mean? Or 12, all of a sudden that doesn't become worth it. So I just stopped caring, and I just started doing what I wanted, when I wanted. And when I joined Illusionist, people say to me, oh, are you told what to do by the company? No. If there's something in the company that I don't like, then I'll just say I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? They don't tell me what to do, and that's it. They allow me to be me, and that's something that's really important with creativity, the clothes you wear, the tattoos you have. If you want the club heart spade diamond on your hand, you notice how I said to really think about the tattoo? Then get the club spade diamond. Don't worry about what I think. That's and that's it, and that's the only way to truly separate yourself.
And then it's a really good thing that Illusionist is giving you your personal space. I mean,
they just let me do what I want, and that's it. And it's the dream job. Like, it's literally the dream job. And you know what? I found people don't hate me; they hate the company. But because I'm part of the company, they'll hate on me. It's really weird. But they don't. They think it's this big organization where there's like hundreds of workers and we own this big skyscraper. It's nothing like that. Do you know what I mean? I could probably count on my fingers the amount of members of staff that work for the company. Do you know what I mean? And they break their back to try to help people, and then people just complain. And but in complaining, what they do is they end up promoting the products more and more and more, and then the company. Do you know what I mean? It's a really weird logic. But yeah, so the honesty is just be yourself. Be who you want to be. Don't worry about anybody else. Obviously respect. If you're still living under your parents' roof or whatever, and they rule the house, stick to your parents' rules. One piece of advice I will give you is don't make the same mistakes I made at school. Stick it out, even if it's easy. Do you know what I mean? And that's the only thing I tell you to do is stick it out. Because if I could go back now and do that.
Yeah, and the funniest thing is that just talking like when you said about school. I am a college dropout.
It's if you drop out, you drop out. That's it. But you have the chance to go back, and that's the thing. If you wanted to,
it's not like when I went to college after finishing higher studies. When I was 19, I went to college. Okay, so then I don't feel like I fit in the college. So I told to my parents about this, that I don't want to continue there because I am not gonna pursue, degree and go in academic wise. I want to live as a, this is my passion. This is my life. I mean, so that's it. So parents said, okay, leave the college, do distance education or something like that. And yeah, then here I am going on like that.
I mean, if it's working for you and you're happy, but I mean, always remember though that when something's not working, be honest with yourself, because it's the only way you can change it. So, for example, if mentalism wasn't working for me and it wasn't giving me everything that I needed or wanted from life, then I wouldn't do it. I'd be doing something else, right? And so that's it. Just make what happens work for you. And the most important thing for anybody's watching this is don't go down the same paths that if you look at the mistakes that a lot of people make, most of the time it's alcohol and drugs, right? And don't make those mistakes. And I know I'm sounding preachy, but don't. I like a beer or a whiskey every now and then. Do you know what I mean? But don't make the mistakes of indulging too much. I never take drugs. I've never taken drugs. Because what happens is you'll end up trapped down that route. And that's real damaging. You know what I mean? Really damaging. And so just the main thing is if you're ever feeling upset or you're ever feeling down, your girlfriend's broken up with you, people are picking on you, whatever, just remember that tomorrow's a new day and just focus on your mentalism, focus on you and just
do what you love, right?
I mean, and that's it. And then and the biggest and best piece of advice I ever got is, whenever I don't worry about anything anymore, but whenever I worried about something in the past, somebody once said to me, do you think this is something you'll think about and worry about next year? And I said, probably not. And they said, don't worry about it now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can always change something in the space of 12 months.
That's true.
Yeah. But that's it. So, there's not really much to it. But, and if you want now, so I know we are getting on for time and I don't want to keep you too long, give me 5 quick fire questions and I'll answer them.
Yeah, so before we go to the next questions, I would like to see, like worldwide magicians and mentalists are discussing about your Akkan routine, which you're doing through virtual shows and all. I mean, I heard that it's really brilliant, so I would like to see, All
right, so we'll play a little game. The first thing's this, is there's no guarantees this is going to work. So I'm going to be really honest out the gate, and we're going to see we're going to see together if this works.
Okay.
Before we begin, I want you to think of a number from 1 to 52. So, for example, if you thought 23, you'd go for 23, right? But obviously don't go for that. Don't tell me what it is, but tell me when you've got a number in mind.
I got a number in my mind.
Now, obviously, you don't know what playing cards at that number.
No.
There's no way you could, right? I don't know what number you're thinking of. Now, everybody's going to think that you told me the number off camera, that somehow you mentioned a number. That's not the case. You never told me a number.
No.
What number you were going to go for. You only said, would you be comfortable me trying any card at any number, right?
Yeah.
Now, bearing in mind, we're just going to go for this and we're going to see if I can do this, right? I want you to think of your favourite suit of playing card.
Okay.
But now completely change it to another suit.
Another suit?
Yeah, another suit completely.
Okay.
So you have a suit in your head, yes?
Yeah.
Is that fair and random?
That's fair and random, yeah.
So now I want you to just name the first small number that pops in your head. What is it?
3 of spade.
No, just the number 3.
3, yeah.
Okay, so we know that you're on a spade now, but it's okay. So now add that small number that you just created inside your head, which were 3, to your favourite number. So what's the total of your favourite number in that small number?
What was say it again, sorry?
If you added that small number 3 to your favourite number, what's the total?
10.
So the 10 of spades.
Yeah.
Is there any way that you could logically see that 10 of spades being the number? You haven't even told me the number from 1 to 52 yet.
Yeah.
Right? Just to prove one thing here, right? Do you have a deck of cards there?
Yeah.
Hold them up a second. What number are you thinking of?
18.
18. So what I want you to do is this. Listen to me really carefully. You're going to be dropping the cards down into your hand one at a time. So what I want you to do is you're going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I got it.
Stop when you get to 18, leaving the 18th card in the bigger pile in whichever hand it is that you're dealing from. So go for it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Be careful not to flash.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 18th card is here.
Right, so hold them both like this.
Okay.
This is where you're going to get a random choice. Be really honest with me, 100%. Don't lie for me. The position that you've arrived at there, is that completely random?
That's completely random.
Could I have known that you'd have gone to that position?
No way.
Could I have known that you'd have said spades?
No.
Could I have known that you'd have said 3 to add to your favourite number?
No way.
So, I tell you what, there's one more decision you're going to make. That's your left hand, that's your right hand. Keep changing between left and right, and whichever we end up on is the one that we'll turn over. So we'll turn over the top card on wherever you end up, but just keep changing between left and right. Keep changing.
In my mind.
In your mind, keep changing, and stop. Don't tell me where you ended up. You know where you ended up there, though, right? If you were to change one more time, this would have been different, correct?
Yeah.
In fact, if you were to change one more time, where would you be?
I would be on left.
And you could have done that. You could. I said wherever you stop is what we'll go with. So where did you stop?
Right.
So drop the big packet in the left hand.
Drop it on table.
Yeah, put it down.
Okay.
Take the card that's on the top of that packet and have a look at it yourself.
Top card.
Top card. Have a look at it to yourself. Can we have a look?
What?
Oh, yes. Home run. Could you have named any number? You could have named any position. You could have created any suit. You could have created any value.
What? Oh my god. That's, I mean, I don't know how to react. Seriously, man. That's why I'm like speechless. This is crazy. I mean, if I would have named different number, things would have been different, right?
You didn't ever tell me the number. You could have said.
No,
40.
I didn't. I just randomly said 18.
Yeah, you could have added any other number to your favorite number. You could have named any playing card suit.
Man, this is one of the best Tekken I have ever seen. Crazy. I mean, like, you know, I have seen some mechanics which uses sleight of hand, misdirection, and pattern. Okay, those are really good in its own way, but it uses these 3 elements. But this thing, there is no way that you could do any sleight of hand. There is, I mean, oh my god.
And you could have named any number. You could have gone for any number. You could have done absolutely anything. But yeah, so, and people are going to, do you know what? This is the thing. When you wear this, people are going to say, oh, he's a stooge, he's set up.
No, like, let me tell this to you, magicians. I mean, trust me, I haven't said about anything about my card or like number before we record this. This was just random. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, this is just crazy, man. How? I mean,
This is your deck, and you're still checking it to see if there's duplicates.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I was just, wondering how this happened. I mean, this fooled me, man. I mean, crazy fun.
Do you know it could have been different. It could have been. But yeah, it's cool. So, 5 questions.
Yeah, 5. Okay.
I'll give you 5 answers in under a minute, and then I'm gonna go because I'm gonna have my dinner.
Yeah, okay, all right. So, like, I'm just going to ask 2-3 questions. One question is that, like, your release, no? Like, your hit release was Isabella Star 3. So, it was a book, I mean, if in my knowledge. So, are you planning to make a DVD for that?
I can't because I sold the rights to it to Penguin, and I'll never go back to work with Penguin. Not because of anything nasty, but because I'm working with Illusionist, and I can't. There's a non-compete.
Yeah, okay. So the next question, which I will say, let's say, which are your new releases coming up? Is this the release, a kind of release which are gonna put it out in the market, or you're gonna keep yourself?
That A-can there is different each time I do it. Not because you know the thing with this is this. So there's something important for people to know. Firstly, you stop the recording because the file was getting too big. Because what people are going to think is that, oh, I messaged you and asked you to stop it, and you stopped it, and then that's why it's not. You stopped it because the file were getting too big, and then you said, could you show me the ACAN? And I said, just get a deck of cards and we'll see. You know what I mean? And then we went straight into it, and that's important for people to know. But the ACAN, the problem is with it is that if I released it, people would say it doesn't work. That's the honesty. It's one of those routines that you have to spend a lot of time dedicating yourself to doing. Do you know what I mean? And that's it.
Yeah,
so no is the honest answer. Not because I don't want to. It's just because I know people will go, this is terrible, it's not worth buying.
I understood. Okay, yeah, fine. So you are kind of like known as the like underground king of mentalism, or underground god of mentalism, like that. Many mentalists call you like that. So according to you, who is your favorite mentalist in the industry?
Right now, alive or dead, or both? Alive or any time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking who is your favorite mentalist of right now? Right now, yeah.
Okay. So if you'd have been deceased, Ted Anneman's my favourite. But I think the one that shaped the future, or everything for me, with Darren Brown. So obviously, Darren's, he changed the game, and it were great watching it because nobody really understood. Nobody really understood how he did all the things he did. And I often wonder to myself, and this is a bit of a daft question, would he have been as popular and as, if he'd have not had the television show? Do you get what I mean? Would it have, everything would have changed? Obviously, my life would have changed, your life would have changed. But I think that Darren popularised mentalism again and made it great.
Yeah, in worldwide, yeah, of course.
And so that's the answer to that. It's probably
Darren. Quick 2 more questions, okay, then we will end up the session. So what's your thought about mixing magic and mentalism in a show?
Again, just do what you want to do. I mean, when people start to get into debates of don't use playing cards in magic or mentalism, don't use magic and mentalism, do what you want to do. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, if it's working for you, then do it. I personally don't do it, and that's only because I feel that I have a very unique way to approach things, so I just stick to that, and I just go with what feels right at the time.
Yeah, I understood. And the last question is like in mentalism industry, in community, senior mentalists used to advise to the younger people that age is a matter to be a mentalist. I mean, if you are under 18, don't do it now. You get matured and do. Is this really a criteria, or is this really a matter that if younger kids are doing mentalism?
It depends on how you're framing it up. Do you know what I mean? The problem is, like I said, is if you were under 18 or young and you tried to claim that you're a psychologist, no one's going to believe that. Do you know what I mean? Darren's like, I suppose he's probably in his 40s, nearly 50s. Do you know what I mean? He'd be believable as a psychologist. He dresses like a psychologist. So it all comes down to believability. If you approached it and said, do you know, I'm a magician. I've always wanted to be a magician. And whilst I were doing it, I found that when people were thinking of playing cards, I could tell them what they were. And it wasn't down to me being psychic or a mind reader. It's just I knew what they were doing. And so I'm working on learning to read people. I'm not the best at it. Would you mind if I tried it? Do you know what I mean? That's a different approach. Then it's almost like... Yeah. You remember earlier on I said sometimes it's better to show your vulnerability, and that's the case there. Is instead of coming out and saying I'm a psychologist or I'm a body language expert, do the exact opposite. Say I'm starting to learn this stuff because I want to get an early grasp. Do you know what I mean? And I want to show you what I'm learning. And now when it happens, people are like, wow, you've got to see, and it's more impressive because you've downplayed it. Do you know what I mean? Than it is when you upplay it, So yes, you can do it. You do what you want.
And one last thing, one more question. So, do you perform mentalism for kids? I mean, if you're doing mentalism for like elder people, and suddenly small kids, below 10 years, just came to you randomly and asked you to perform a mind read like a mentalism. Do you perform for small kids?
I never really find myself in situations where that's the case. So normally if I do a show or residency, they're in bars or they're in places that people consume alcohol, and because of that, the demographics normally round about 15 up. Do you know what I mean? 16 up. So the answer is honestly no. I think I'd struggle. I think I'd struggle with that because I'm not.
Yeah.
But I have had people message me, and do you know what I once did? And this is something I once did a 13th birthday party, and I didn't know it were a 13th birthday party. So somebody said to me, "Do you do? You know, we're having they called it a soiree. We're having a gathering, few." You know, like they call it a mixer. So I assumed that they meant like wine and cocktails and other things. And I turned up and it was just a family in a kitchen.
Oh.
Right, but it were a really well-paid gig, you know. So I went in. But when I did it, I tried to frame it because I realised it was, you know, I realised once I walked in, oh, it's a 13th birthday party. I tried to sort of frame it as if it were fun and interesting and a series of games.
Yeah.
You know, instead of making it about mentalism. So, you know, like I'd get them all to think of a word, and then I'd play like word association or whatever to get it. You know, little things like that. And if you were to get in a plane and fly to any country, and by 13, people can already read and write and everything else, and they can follow instructions. So it wasn't too hard. But I think I'd struggle under 10. You know, like,
right.
I think I personally would, but. You know, if you were again somebody who works people under 10, then that's your market. And if it works, it works. I don't know. I've never done it, so I can't.
Okay, I understood. So anyway, man, thanks a lot for this, you know, full lengthy interview, which was fully packed with lot of knowledge, lot of stuff that you perform, and you know, it's a really great thing that you're doing. You know, you're giving time for the community. So I really appreciate the time you had given for us. And thanks a lot, man. Thank you so much.
Anytime. And if you know, if anybody's interested in booking me for a lecture from over there or a workshop or anything, please contact me.
Of course, man. Like after all this lockdown ends, you know, if I'm actually, you know, planning some bigger stuff, bigger events, so definitely I will call you.
I'd love it. I'd love to, and I'd love to get a Royal Enfield and ride through the mountains. That's been a long
Thanks, man. Yeah, of course we will do that.